It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. So, we've all heard the term the Great Resignation, and we talk about people who are leaving companies and moving on and doing other things and finding new initiatives. Today, I wanted to talk about the top 7 reasons why good people are leaving. Why are you losing your top people? Why are you losing the top developers or the top scrum masters or the top agile coaches? What's happening in the world of agility, and how does this great resignation, how does it impact us? And what I can tell you is there's some pretty interesting things. In fact, I've identified 7 topics that could be good reasons why people are moving on. And I think that, my hope is that this is a sensitive topic. I don't want to upset anyone, but at the same time, I just want to bring some things to light to maybe make you mindful so you can chew on it and have some food for thought. So, coming in at number 1 right out of the gate is management/leadership issues. I sense that a lot of times organizations don't even realize that these exist. And part of the reason why is because we all know that managers and leaders are perfect. I'm being facetious. But I think sometimes we just don't look to those problems, or we don't like to talk. We don't talk about Bruno, right? We don't want to talk about those things. If managing teams is hard and managers are struggled or they're just not cut out for it because they don't have the skill set, top performers tend to feel like when they're suggesting things, they're not being listened to, or if their concerns or challenges that they're not getting addressed or acted upon, or just they don't feel valued as a person. So you have management and leadership related issues where you're focused on processes and tools and ways to measure progress instead of individuals and interactions, and that caused you to be in a really bad place. So that's number 1 on my list. Number 2. So a second reason why good people are leaving good companies. No growth opportunity, especially here with this whole COVID world, or I should say coming out, COVID graduation world that we live in there. I'll put it that way. There's currently no growth opportunities. People are saying, I have nowhere to go. They just cut back a whole bunch of people. They're not going to put in more management or leadership positions. The world's not to a point yet where we're adding a whole bunch more people onto teams. So the lack of opportunity for growth internally is causing a lot of people to leave, because if they switch positions or switch careers, move to a different company, they're more likely to get a promotion or get a different position. So it's important for them to be able to transition and move. Coming in at number 3 is a lack of engagement. If people don't feel like they're connected, if people don't feel like their voice is loud, if they're not having, with the world that we live in now, if you're working from home, sometimes you're withdrawing from those social activities that would normally happen at work. Sometimes you're, burnt out, meeting fatigue, Zoom fatigue. And when I say burnt out, I'm talking about engagement burnout, right? So people aren't used to interacting in a certain way. People are struggling with engagement and with trying to figure out how they can touch the lives of others, and it's just hard. And sometimes they have other organizations that are back in the office, or other organizations that have set ways to integrate and engage, and those are the organizations that are getting the better people. Coming in at number 4 is poor communication. I'm not going to throw out any names, but there's an organization that I work with quite a bit, and they're a great organization. I love them to pieces. But from time to time, I feel like their communication is very 11th hour, meaning, oh, yeah, I better get this to you. I better get this to you. And by the time I receive it, I'm like, wow, I could have used this a week ago. Yes. Because either it confirms some things for me or it straightens some things for me. It's just really, really interesting. So I look at this with the approach of, yeah, we can do better, right? So for me, whether it's email communication, a quick call, a quick text, giving people feedback, creating that feedback loop and shortening the feedback loop, um, having opportunities to inspect and adapt and pivot, all of that's part of having good communication or excellent communication. All right, let's go to number 5. Now, number 5 is interesting. When an organization is too dogmatic about rules and policies. If the world were different and we all were in a 9 to 5 job at an office, and we had certain level of expectation set for us to be there, and we had a TPS report that came out every week, Yeah, then that makes sense to have a dogmatic. You must be here at this time. You must leave at this time. Everyone goes to lunch at this time. You're allowed this many bathroom breaks a day. But I think that now that we have flexible workspaces, we need to revisit all those policies and have flexible workspace policies, right? And I think so many organizations haven't taken the time to do that. So they're trying to follow their same regimented way of working and, calling way too many meetings and not taking feelings and other things into consideration. And they wind up with this jumbled mess of workplace policies that make it impossible for people to follow. Coming in at number 6, lack of clarity in the vision and strategy. Hallelujah, right? It's one of those things where if we don't understand what our mission is, if we don't understand what the vision is, who our target customer is, what goal we're trying to achieve, if we don't have an elevator pitch, if we're not making smart goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, you're going to wind up not in a good place, right? So it's important for us to consider that we need both a vision and a strategy for execution in order to meet that standard. And then number 7, this is the big burnout. So burnout, capital B, burnout and exhaustion. Because here's the truth. If you have some people who are really doing a good job, what are they often rewarded with? Congratulations, you're doing fantastic. Here's some more work for you to do. So the people who are doing the best oftentimes are piled on. And they, well, let's pile it on. Let's give them some more work. They're doing great. They'll be able to handle it. I'm confident. They're warriors. They're the tiger team or the ninja team. They can take on anything. I mean, you can only get so much blood from a turnip. I don't know if anybody's heard that before, but it's one of those things where if you don't have a good work life balance, if you don't have a good psychological safety environment, if you don't have good tendencies or leniencies, what you're going to quickly discover is that people will get burnt out and they will stop participating, and that meetings will start taking longer, and you'll start seeing apathy, and you'll start seeing people blaming other people instead of blaming the real problems that are causing what's happening in the organization. It's interesting, but work-life balance, just because you work from home doesn't mean that work-life balance means 100% of the time you're at home, so 100% of the time you're working. Just saying. um, we need to find better ways to reward people who go the extra mile. We need to find better ways to stop people from feeling exhausted. We need to find better ways to interact and integrate. And I think that if we do those things, that's going to take us a long way. So there you have it. So avoid burnout and exhaustion. Make sure you got everything pulled together. Make sure if you do these 7 steps, you're going to be in a very awesome place. So if you have a topic you'd like for us to discuss, please, please, please send it over. Learn more at agiledad.com. We'd love to discuss your topic. And until next time, stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile. We'll talk soon, my friends.